Well, hi, gang, and welcome to Wellness Wednesday. So good to see you here today. Today, we're going to do another one of our February special workouts. Let me tilt my camera just a little bit, and it's going to be called Walk and utilizing, of course, the 60 up board. So I'm so glad you could be here with me today. What I'd like to start off with is talking a little bit about walking. You know, February is Heart Month, and so I chose to have every Wellness Wednesday really focus in on cardiovascular conditioning and strength, as well, of course, as balance using the 60 up, and kind of blending and finding a great way to use both the idea of keeping your heart rate up at a moderate level and focusing more on the neurological connection between your brain and all the muscles that generate that movement. Well, today is going to be the walk and rock workout. Walking will be done on the floor, rocking will be done on the board. So speaking of walking, we know that one of the most effective and doable exercises for heart health is simply walking. In particular, walking nonstop for a period of time of, let's say, building towards 20 minutes or more, and keeping your heart rate in a moderate to somewhat hard level of work. What does that feel like? Let's put it on a scale of 1 to 10. So if 10 were I have to sit down because I'm breathing so heavily and I'm exhausted, and 1 was us right now standing, you want to be somewhere in about the mid-range of 5 or 6. That sensation or perception would be considered moderate to somewhat hard. Now, when you get into the 7 and 8, you're working more at a hard or very hard level. Those are also fine levels to hit, as we call, in a peak section of your workout. So maybe for a minute or two, you push the volume up a little bit on your intensity, and you feel like, wow, I'm working not just moderately, but hard or somewhat hard to hard. So I'll be reminding you with those cues today so we can monitor our intensity. And I'm going to try to keep our intensity between the 5 and 7 level. So moderate to somewhat hard to hard. All right? Now, walking. Why do I think that's one of the better ways to go when it comes to cardio? Because most of us know how to do it. There's no learning curve. And it's something that mechanically doesn't create a lot of stress or impact on the bones and joints. So hopefully we can do it pain-free. But there's a few tricks to actually taking what I call a stroll walk to a true fitness activity or fitness walk. And I'd like to go over those techniques real quick with you right now, and hopefully they'll carry over and it will be something that you'll utilize when you go out for your own walks in your own environment, hopefully outside in the sunshine somewhere. So, number 1, when we think about walking, the number 1 thing we want to think about is posture. So we want to make sure that our head is stacked over our shoulders are over the hips, the knees are in line with the toes. That's all you think about in phase 1, walking with good posture. Almost pretending you have a book on your head. Okay, phase 1, but that's kind of more like a stroll, right? So how do we pump up the volume or the output during a walk? Well, number 2, bringing the arms to a right angle. So just do this right now in front of me. Those of you that are here, and I do see we've got Craig and Mona and Pat. Thank you for being here today. So put your arms at a right angle, right at your sides, and now pump the arms so that the fist goes from sternum to hip, sternum to hip, sternum to hip. All right? That's a fitness walking arm, not a just walking along stroll arm. So again, you want to leverage the arms at a right angle, and you want to pump them forward and back at about sternum height. Now, you don't want them going across the body like this, or opening and closing like a drumstick. So really practice when you're doing your fitness walking, and we'll practice it today in our walk and rock workout. Practice good elbow back, forward. Notice how that right angle stays right there, right in place. And why do we want to do that? Well, first of all, mechanically, the arm swing complements the leg swing. And so mechanically you'll walk a little bit more briskly just because you've added those arms. Secondly, we know through research on expenditure, caloric expenditure during walking or other activities as well, that once you add arm movement, true movement, not just hanging out there, you can elevate your output, how many calories you're burning, by up to 20% just because of the arm swing. So it's kind of like an easy, why not, right? So why walk here when you can walk like this, clean up your mechanics, speed up your pace, and burn more calories. The next thing, and that's all we'll go through, is 3, and then we'll get moving because I know we've got a workout to get to, is foot and heel placement. So as you're striding, I'm going to come back here to make sure you can see my feet for a second on this one because it is important. You want to think about hitting with the heel. See how my toe is up? And then rolling through the foot, heel, heel, heel. So watch me a couple times as I use my arms and I forcibly lift the toe as that foot steps forward. You ever watch race walking? It almost looks a little awkward, doesn't it? So you want to get the heel down first. So you dig the heel, and what it does is, again, mechanically, it has you speeding up without even trying, versus a flat foot kind of a walk, which is more like a shuffle, something we want to avoid. Now, with that said, I know some of you have some mobility issues with the ankle. And so your heel to toe walk may not seem as effective as others, but you can still think about it. Just think about pulling that toe back before, present the heel, present the heel, present the heel. And sooner or later, especially with the other exercises that Dan and Debbie and myself give you on the 60-up board, the goal would be that ideally at some point, that's going to improve your walking form as well. So, are you excited about walking? 90-degree arm swing, heel before toe. You will be walking for fitness and make a much more effective training session out of it. So, what are we going to do in today's format? Hi, Betsy. So good to see you. What we're going to do is we're going to go back and forth. I'm going to present you with a series of what I call fitness walking. And, some of it is going to be sidestepping, so it's not all walking. It's walking type movements. And we're going to do them in a row, about a minute of each. And then we're going to get up on the board and I'm going to present you with a series of rocking actions up on the board. It will involve more balance. We'll do a series and then we'll come back and repeat the whole series over again. And the second time around, you'll know exactly what you're doing, so the form will greatly improve and you can really hopefully accelerate what you're doing. So what do we need before we get started? As always, some water. And I also advise you always have a chair nearby, all right? Because that chair will allow you to sit down at any time that you're feeling like, you've just had enough. And personal breaks are the key to a good workout. Taking them when you need them, not only hydration, but also rest breaks. Now, I'm looking at my screen. I cannot see my entire board, so I have to back it up a little for you before we get started, and tilt my screen a little. Hopefully that'll work for all of you and you can see me clearly here before we get started. Once I get up, I might lose my head. All right, we will work on this just a bit more. I've got a new camera here, so hopefully it's a better picture, but also hopefully I'm not gonna have my head cut off. All right, let's get started. I'm gonna put a little bit of background beat on, but this is walk and rock. We don't always have music when we walk, do we? So that's not the more important thing by far. Let's warm up and let me check in. Thank you guys for being here, and I will be fielding comments later, so stick around to the cool down. It'll be a cool down. Now we're also gonna work a little bit on balance after we're done with all our cardio. Keep in mind with the cardio, we need to make sure to get that 20 minutes in today of that nice steady state work. Just gonna turn my volume up a little bit. That's it. All right. start marching in place. Easy walk. So a march is a form of walking where you just elevate that thigh a little more than you would if you were walking, right? So let's just march in place. Keep going. Now let's take a nice deep breath if you're comfortable letting go of your poles. Remember, you can always do this one arm at a time, so if this is more comfortable for you, then of course do a one arm version of what I'm doing. But if you can do both, inhale up and exhale down. And inhale up. I got my walking outfit today. Don't I look like I'm ready to go for a walk? Hope you are with me. Indoor walking and rocking. 4 more. 4. 3 more. Warming up the shoulder girdle, warming up the legs, warming up the heart and lungs. 1 more. Now from here, let's take that arm. Remember that swing? Remember that posture. Keep swinging those arms. You stay there. I'm just going to tilt my camera again. Sorry for the adjustments today. I want to make sure you can see the board. All right. We're still rocking it, walking it out. Now practice again. Sternum to hip. Sternum to hip. Push those elbows back behind. Keep that walk going. Now from here, let's take the arms back behind. Hold a little stretch through the shoulder. And then let's bring the feet together, one hand on that pole. Let's take it down and up. Other arm is gonna come forward and back, stretching through that shoulder girdle. So as you keep going, try to open it back a little more, kind of in a goalpost fashion. If your feet are too close, reposition. Sometimes we may not be happy with our stance. Feel free to change it. Sitting back into those hips. Now let's switch arms. So hold with the other pole. Let's go down and back. So we're opening up that chest and shoulder. We're warming up those hips and glutes. We've got one hand on the pole for stability. Inhale and exhale. You've got this. Down and up. Now as I'm coming down, I'm also making sure that I'm sitting back into the hips and keeping the spine in good alignment. Let's do 4 more. 4 and 3, 2, last one. Gotta warm up that shoulder girdle. All right, now holding on, let's walk on our toes. So get up high, lift those heels, lift your chest, put that book on your head. Nice, keep going. Oh boy, are your calves getting a little tired? All right, then bring it back to the flat foot or the regular march. Reposition those shoulders back and down. Keep that chin parallel to the floor. Now here comes the tricky part. We're going to turn to the side so we can more easily hold that one pole, and then we're going to walk on our heels. So keep those toes up. Remember, with good walking, we want to present the heel before the toe. Keep your chin and chest up. Mash those heels into the ground. I don't know if you can see mine, but let me back up so you can see it. Toes are up. Toes are up. Keep going. Shins will be warming up. Do as best you can here, okay? All right, now tap it out. Let's take and tap, in, tap, out, out, in. Just stretch that leg to the side. Get that hip joint oiled. Now same thing, but more on a back angle. So behind you slightly. And I'm okay if you lean a little into this one. Putting a little bit of that upper body weight onto your hands, which are on the poles. 4 more times. Here we go. 4, opening up that hip joint. 3, 2. All right, now to the front. Heel up, heel down. Now here's where you have to start thinking a little bit more about balance and core stability. Connect that brain to that shift of weight from 2 feet to 1. Uh-oh, something happened. What happened here? I lost you guys. I hope I didn't go bye-bye completely. Nope, I didn't. Sorry, that was just a message on my computer. Are you still tapping it out? I hope so. Back. All right, easy knee bends, just bend. Whew. For a second there, I thought I disappeared. Couple more. Bend, extend, bend, extend. Okay, one more warm-up move and then we're off to the walk. Down flat. I was gonna say off to the races and somehow got messed with the word walk. Here we go. Flat back and roll. Again, if you want to hold your poles, that's fine as well. You know, respect where you're comfortable. My goal is to get you feeling fit, but at your level and your pace. Good. 4 more. 3 more. My knees have a little bit of a bend in them because I'm really trying to focus more on the spine. I don't want to be limited by those hamstrings. Last one. And then let's stand up tall and let's walk in place. Walk or march. All right. Now, know that you can always continue to hold your handles. You can also sit down and be walking from that seated posture anytime you need to. But if you can, let's do those walking arms. Sternum to hip. Here we go. Gotta get that cardio up. What did I ask for today? Moderate to somewhat hard. That's gonna be about a 5 or 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. Now notice how high my arms are going, about sternum height. I still have that book on my head. There you go, keep it going. We're gonna do minute sprints. Well, not quite sprint, minute walks. Let's look and to the side, see what's around you in your landscape. Ooh boy, that one's challenging on your balance, isn't it? So take your time on this. Feel free to look to the side, but keep those arms pumping front. All right, now from here, we're gonna go wide and narrow. So imagine there's a puddle on the floor. A puddle on the floor. You gotta get over the item in your way, the obstacle. Still swinging those arms, or holding those poles, or sitting down. Always have an option. And if your only option is, I'm gonna sit this one out and watch, that's fine too. Because you can come back and do it on YouTube when you feel up to it. Good. We're getting there. Wide and narrow. Notice how when you do this, you're also angling your feet a little bit wider, almost like you're gonna take a turn, which is important functionally. We don't always walk straight forward and back, do we? 2 more. All right, now keep marching, but turn and face the side. Back up a little bit to the pole that's furthest away. Now on this one, we're gonna travel walk. And I want you to feel free to use your poles at any time you need. It's 4 counts forward, so 1, 2, 3, stay here. 4 counts back. Stay here. Again, 4 counts forward. Stay here. You can pump that back arm if you're holding with the front arm, right? Or use those arms. And back. You've got it. Forward. And back. Now back step, you have to be careful, but it's very important because sometimes we have to back up and it's not a direction that we do a lot. So we have to make sure we're lifting those feet forward. And stay. And back. And stay. Now facing front, right here, by this end pole. We're we're going to combine this with a little lateral stepping, and then we'll repeat that forward walk in the other direction. So watch me first. Step, together, and back. Walk. So it's a lateral walk, and you can use this different arm pattern to encourage a little bit deeper squat as you sit back. It counterbalances you. And can you hold on? Of course you can. So it's imagine you're on the ledge. For some reason you gotta scoot behind the couch, and you want those muscles in the outer hip and thigh working. Good, again. So get good at these patterns because we'll do them again a little later. Stay here and turn. March, march, march. Get that posture back up, head over shoulders, shoulders over hips, pumping arms if you like, or one only. Here we go, 4 front. Knees up, 4 back. Knees up. Again, can you feel that heart rate elevating? Is your breathing getting a little deeper? That's called cardio. And back. Real nice, forward. And back. Again. One more time, your choice. Don't feel like you have to hold that pole, but then don't be intimidated about holding it. Back to center, right here. Are you ready to walk the thin line again to the side? 2 steps, here we go. Out, in, out, in. Very nice. Is your head still high? Can you put a book on it? Can you squat down low, using more of those thigh muscles? You don't have to hold on if you're comfortable without it. You can just do a forward counterbalance arm. Whew, I don't know about you. I know I'm at about 5 or 6, that moderate to somewhat hard sensation of respiration and work. And hopefully a 9 or 10 in the inspiration for work. Again, here we go. Down, back, and over. Let's do one more set each way and back. All right, time for a water break. All right, whew. Shuffle yourself over and go for the water break now. Now remember, one nice thing is to try to water break with 3 goals. That way, after 3, I'm pretty sure you've got in about 4 good ounces, 2 to 4 good ounces. All right. Whew. Keep that cardio going. Remember, we want at least 20 minutes of pure heart work, pure cardio. Okay, ease up, step on to 1 and 1, and let's rock to the 1 to the 1. Here comes the rock with the walk. So as we're rocking, remember to push to the outer edge of your foot, to bend the knee, to keep the chest up, wiggle the fingers, stay tall and strong with a soft knee bend as you rock, and absorb the rock through the thigh, the foot, the calf, even into those arms. You can kind of push the pole in the direction you're going and engage a little bit more upper body. Remember what I said earlier about engaging more upper body can lift your output by a good 20%. Why output? Because it helps to increase the condition of your heart and burn more calories. Push and pull. Beautiful. Now we're going to take this and creep it out. So we're going to go rock 2, rock 2, rock 3, rock 3, rock 2, rock 2, rock 1, rock 1. Let's do that again. Just going right, left. Keep your eyes conscious of where your foot placement is, like especially as you get out to the threes, because you don't want to step so wide that you feel like you're going to step off the board. Of course, you'd have to probably have pretty long legs and some good flexibility to get off that board, but I want you to still feel safe. And sometimes we might feel like, oh my gosh, I'm going to step off that board, even if you're not. So just occasionally glance down, especially on the outside rocking action. Feel those hips and the change of pressure to the thighs and hips as you do this. Nice. All right, bring it back in. Let's go one and one and rock a little faster. Just kind of rock it out. Clear those thoughts. Just go back to the nice easy rock, chest up. And then we're going to repeat that wider and narrower rocking step to the other side. Lead. Woo, chest up high. Are you still using your arms by pushing your little fingers, pushing your palms in? Let's have fun with this a little bit and go faster. Go, go, go. Just for a second, just pump it up. Nice. Little sprint. Remember I told you can do a little peak move or a sprint occasionally. This would qualify. Awesome, and slow it down. Now let's go back to that very tempered, where you're looking down as you go wide and bringing it back in, leading this time with the left foot, so we're left to right. And it doesn't have to go all the way out. You know, just kind of take your time to see where your comfort zone is. Well, not so comfortable though, because remember, the goal is to create a little bit more challenge every time you do your workouts, very gently, not overdoing it, so that you feel like those first few workouts you did, those basic ones, are a piece of cake. And in. And out. As you're doing this, really think about that brain, that neurological connection to your feet as you kind of lift them and scoot them in and change the dynamics of where the muscles are feeling this. You know, on Tuesday, Dan does a lot of very specific moves to reinforce what you should be feeling as you're doing the 60 up. Great basic day. Out, 2, and then of course Debbie's got her wonderful spin on things too. So the great thing is you can come here Monday through Friday and get a live, fresh workout. Better than fresh fish, right? Again, out, 2, and in. All right, go back to that rocking step. You've got this. So now let's find the 2. 2 and 2, look down. It's a little bit wider than those 2 inner pole holes. And what we're going to do is a pattern rock. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, pull. 1, 2, 3, pull. 1, 2, 3, pull. 1, 2, 3, pull. 1, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, out. If you want, you can add a little bit of upper body. 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. Pause. 1, 2, 3, pause. Pause. Good. Pause. Pause. As I pause, I kind of squat back a little. Put more weight in my gluteals. All right, hold, hold. Now we're on the side that we've been doing the pause on. So lift and drop. Two more. Last one. And rock again. Pause. 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 So I'm doing that little shift of my hip on the other side a little bit. Just changing again the degree, the angle of the weight bearing on that leg. No right, no wrong. Just pause when you want. Pause. Pause. 4 more. 3, 2. Now hold that pause, other side hopefully, and then let's do the tap and go. So you're balancing along this one leg now. Tap, out and in, pull to board, pull to board. Chest to chin up. Last one. Nice. All right, now we're gonna pivot around so you're facing the side. Ease your weight back so your feet are together and you're in the side position. Now we're gonna put the arm closest to me on the front pole and then step forward with the back leg. Now we're just gonna do the rocking horse. Forward and back. So really allowing your body to kind of lean with this, forward and slightly back, still keeping strong core, absorbing this by bending the knees and dropping that back heel and lifting that front toe. This is a great one to help coordinate that toe up that we want during walking activity. 4 more. 3, 2. Now we're gonna hold this one in the back. Hold it, keep the toe up, and give me a little pulse. Hold on. Get that toe up. Get the hips back. Keep the spine nice and strong in line. 4. Oh boy, that leg's getting tired. All right, now step forward. Turn around. Easy, easy, easy. Tiny, tiny, tiny steps. Front arm on that pole. Back leg steps into the rock position. So you're kind of where those red lines are. Make sure that you're stabilized and you're not too far on the back side of your board so you don't feel like you might fall off or anything. And again, give me that nice controlled body lean, bending and flexing in the knees and ankle. So the toe goes down on the front foot forward, the heel goes up on the front lean, and then the heel goes down on the back lean, and the front toe pulls up. Nice. You can use this other arm and do a little bicep curl if you like. Why? Using arms uses more energy, right? Nice deep breaths. Inhale, exhale. This is a great one because it keeps the heart rate going, but it's also really nice and engages a lot of hip and thigh muscles and those important ankle muscles. Now stay in the back. Pulse here. Both hands can go on the pole. A pulse is just a short range up and down movement. We're using the knee of that back leg to drop and lift our hip. Really still focused on keeping that front toe up. Especially you, Craig. I know we work on that every time. Let's go. 4, 3, 2, 1, and done. Bring it to the center. Pivoting. Step back. Ground it out. Get some water, and we're ready to go on to the second circuit of all those moves. A little faster, because now you know those moves, so we can roll through them at a little quicker tempo. But we're going to go back to our walk and rock second set. We are really burning up the time. So thank you for joining me. All right. Hey, I'm glad you guys are here. Whether you're doing it right now with me or you're going to come back and do it later, thank you always for joining 60 Up and the 60 Up numbers. Invite your friends. All right, let's get back to the walk. Set 2. Where did we start? Easy march. Now, at this point, if you're saying, Kathy, my legs have had it, remember, the reason I ask you to have a chair nearby is you can just sit down and do the same move I do from your chair. All right? March. Now, what did we do? We added the arms. Pump those arms. Remember, right angles. Sternum to hip. Put that book on your head. Chin parallel to floor, chest lifted, abdominals held in, just slightly. And breathe. Our next move was that. Let's get over the obstacle. There's a puddle on the floor. Here we go. Take it out, in. Let's do one more more and lead with the other leg. Here we go. Out, out. I didn't do that the last time through. I always like to try to balance things if it's starting with one leg and do it again starting with the other. We all tend to have a favorite leg. I know I do. And so we often will avoid the side we're not as comfortable on. I have a little hip arthritis here, so as you noticed, I wanted to go that way first, didn't I? But motion is lotion. Keeping it at the right level strengthens the side and keeps the mobility there. All right, back to center walk. We went up on our toes, high, chest up, little balance element, little calf strengthening in this march. Keep going. So this time through, I'm doing about 30 seconds of each move instead of a minute. As you know, we got a lot to get through. All right. Now bring it down and walk on the heels. And I know this one is hard, so you might want to turn to the side so you can get a little closer to your pole. Sometimes that'll help. Sometimes even holding a wall helps, or a chair. But try to get those toes up. Try to keep that head high. Try to keep those hip muscles as forward as possible. I know there's a tendency to want to let them go back. Groucho march, I call that. 8, 7, 6, 5, 3, 2, 1. All right. Come over here and let's go step together, step. Remember this one? So on this one, you can add the arms here if you want, counterbalance that sit back, or you can keep them on your poles. But remember to lead by sitting back. So you really want to load the hips and lean a little with the torso. I hope I didn't switch sides on you there unexpectedly. Again. Couple more. Last one. We're going to come over to this side, turn and march. March. Back to that march with a travel forward and back. 4 count move, 4 count hold. Again, swing one arm if that's more comfortable, or swing both arms. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stay tall. Back, 2, 3, 4. Make sure there's nothing behind you that you might bump into or step on. 1, 2, 3, 4. Again, just be aware of your space. Down, back, again. Here we go. Whew. This should feel like a really nice moderate pace. That 5 to 6. Are you still there? Now let's come forward and turn it front. And then from here, let's step it side. Step and step. Again. Out and out. Keep going. Forward, forward. Or hold the poles. Hold the poles. One more. Here it comes. And I'm going to turn and face and march in place. Try to line up that head tall over those hips. Pump those arms if you can, or one arm. Ready? Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Knees up. Back. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Now that is tricky, but you can always look back and down if that helps with the back step. But try, practice moving back without having to look. And I know that can be scary, so if you don't like it, then don't do it. When in doubt, leave it out. My favorite saying. Again, Last one. All right, now bring it up gently on the board, 1 and 1. Rock in place. You guys, we're hitting that 20-minute mark after the warm-up right now. How you feeling? Rock. With that pressure, keep that posture. Push those fingers or hands into the pole. Push and shift. Now let's take it out. Out. It's like a ladder. I think that's what officially Dan calls this, kind of a laddering out, 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 and in, again. Out, out, and in. One more on this lead. So we were leading with our left, let's lead with our right now. So right, right, and right. Again, chest up. Out. Last one. All right, now take it to 2 and 2. A little bit more aggressive rock with a pattern. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Rock, rock, hold. Rock, rock, hold. And as I hold, I kind of sit back a little bit and I let the heel come up on the foot that I'm sitting back towards. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. One more. All right, now let's ease it back to that side position. Front hand closest, back leg, step on the red, and let's rock it out. Really think from your ankle and your hip and your knee. Drop and rock, drop and rock, drop and rock. Forward and back, forward and back. Want to add an arm? Pull and lift, pull and lift. Breathing. Excellent. I really love this one because of the ankle mobility involved. 4 more. You've got this. 3. Wiggle your fingers every once in a while. 2. Now we're going to rock back into the hip and pulse through this thigh. You're going to put both hands on that pole, long line. You're going to really feel this in that leg that you're bearing the weight through, the one that's closest to the pole. 4, 3, 2, 1. Gently step and ease yourself to the other direction. All right. Hand nearest me on the pole, foot away from me on the red line, other side. So remember, what we do on the right, we do on the left, and vice versa. Keeping balance and symmetry. Now I know, definitely, as we have certain injuries, maybe one side gets limited more than the other in either strength or mobility, range of motion. So it's not strange to have one side feel so much more easy to do than the other, or harder to do than the other, and that's okay. Just try to recognize it, because if you put that in your mental notebook, then maybe throughout the day, you can do a few extra reps on the side that you know is a little more difficult. Not all at once, because the reason it's difficult is because it is fatiguing faster than the strong side. So you need a break. 2 more. Last one. Now hold here and pulse up and down on this back thigh. Be nice and tall through your spine, all the way from hip to shoulder to head. Well, we have definitely completed 20 minutes of nonstop. I think we actually might have got closer to 30 minutes of nonstop walk and rock. So now we're going to finish off with just a little bit of balance work. Why? Because that's what 60 up is all about. So let's bring it back to the center and bring our feet alongside the center red line. And I just want you to start calming down the heart rate a little bit by doing a light knee bend and foot shift. So in my knee bend, what happens is as the front knee bends, the heel of that foot goes up. Let me show you from the side. So as the knee bends, my foot stays down, the toe stays down, but the heel comes up. And what this is doing is helping to slow down that blood flow from that more vigorous activity we've been doing. And at the same time, it keeps the muscles of the feet and legs pumping the residual blood back to the heart and brain, so it doesn't do something we call blood pooling. Blood pooling is when all of a sudden you stop after doing something vigorous, and sometimes the cardiovascular system doesn't have quite the give back it used to, and so it's a little harder to get that blood back up where it belongs. If you do a light, very light mashing movement like this, or knee bend, or easy side step, that actually facilitates you bringing the heart rate down versus just stopping. So that's something to remember with every cardio workout that you do. All right, now, hopefully by now, if you evaluate what's your perception on a scale of 1 to 10, hopefully you're at least down to a 5, maybe a 4, which is below moderate intensity. You're not feeling that need to breathe, but you still feel like you're breathing a little heavier than when you sit and rest. Okay, so let's stabilize in the center. Feet about hip distance. So line up your toes with your hips. Look down for a second. Put your hands up on the top of your poles. Bend your knees and sit into it a bit. Stabilize it. Let one arm come up. Put it back down. Now, our goal during this minute is to do alternating patty cakes down, not moving anything else. Not the spine, not the legs, not the core, and hopefully minimally the board. That's where it's going to get a little tricky. That board's going to want to wobble side to side, isn't it? Try to de-wobble or stabilize it as best you can. Nice. Breathing, don't hold your breath. That's the only thing I don't want you holding. So inhale and exhale. Raise your hand if you're having a good time. 4 more. And 3, and 2, and 1. All right, let's take the right leg and put the foot right on the red line. And then let's take the back, or the left leg, and put it on the back of the board on a kickstand. What's my kickstand? Kickstand is where the toe is down, just helping you stabilize. So hold it there. All right, now, hands on, lift and take the kickstand off. All right, guys, this is where the going gets tough and the tough gets balancing. Once again, if you want, do that alternating patty cake down. Ooh, this is a much harder one to keep the board quiet, isn't it? So you don't have to add the arm pattern if you're feeling like you're losing it once you do. Stay strong, stay tall. 4, and 3, and 2, and 1. Bring it down. Now we're going to switch sides because remember what I told you earlier, what we do on the right, we do on the left. And maybe you'll notice one is easier than the other. All right, line up that body again. Kickstand first, and you can always go back to kickstand. Knee bent next, and then try that patty cake up and down with the hand to the handle. Ooh, again, remember I told you this is my little trickier hip. Doesn't have quite the neurological connection that the other side does. Sometimes that's what happens when we have injuries, old injuries. I had a hernia on this side, so there could be some scar tissue clogging up the communication. Could be a little osteoarthritis, which I also think we all have. I know I have a little bone spur on that side too. So all of those things are going to slow down that processing of information that needs to go on to keep me well balanced. Okay, I think I did a good job. How about you? All right, and why? Because I keep doing it. You know, whenever you've got something that you feel is a challenge, take it at the level, stay at the kickstand, don't go as long, and just don't give up. That's so key. Never give up, never give up. All right, guys, with that done, now it's time to cool down. Ooh, so I hope you hung out, and I hope you're still with me, because this is my favorite part, is the slow down. All right, so take your feet out about pole distance, and let's just bring that right arm up and back. And I really want you to not worry about the muscles of the lower body while you're doing this. I want you to kind of keep the legs straight and paint the sky or the ceiling or whatever's above you today. Now I'm holding on, I'm just stretching my back muscles, and then I'm going to let that arm start to wrap behind me so that I stretch some of those chest and shoulder muscles that all of that pumping action during the walk may have tightened. So reach up and hold it behind you. Reach up and hold it behind you. Last one, we're going to reach up, we're going to hold it and stay. Now just fold it behind you and lift your chest and look up. So I have like a little bit of a Napoleon behind the arm, right? Okay, so stay there. Lift that chin, lift that chest. Open up the shoulder girdle on this side. Stay balanced. Now, take the hand from behind, grab the other handle and pivot turn. And then lean over with both legs as straight as you can keep them. Use that front pole to hang on to as you lean. Stretch down the back of those legs. And take some nice deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Now try to get both toes so that they're angled and let the back heel work its way. I don't know if you can see mine in the back of my board up a little. So what I'm doing now is I'm allowing, from the same stance, my back heel to hang off the edge of the board. And I feel this in my calf. This is such a great calf stretch, because you can allow that heel to really get down low, and that brings mobility in that ankle like crazy. Look how much it closes the front angle between my front of my foot and shin. All right, now bend the knee a little bit, just the knee, but keep the heel down. The calf muscle has two portions, a higher attachment and a lower attachment, and the straight leg hits one area and the bent leg hits the other. So when you're trying to really get some good calf stretching done, you want to combine both the bent and straight and hold those positions for 3 to 5 deep breaths. Now, we're going to lunge forward and push your pelvis towards the front pole that you're looking at. And, oh my goodness, I'm hoping you're feeling this where I am, which is right in the hip flexor, super tight muscle. And the same thing here. When you do it with a straight leg, you hit the higher portion of the hip flexor quadricep group. When you bend the knee and drop the knee towards the board, it takes the stretch down a little lower through the quad. But you still want to keep your pelvis tucked under a little bit and tighten your buttocks muscle slightly. 3 to 5 deep breaths. That's so good. All right, let's bring it back to the center. And we're going to again, but we're going to use the other arm now for that reach over and swing it behind. Reach over and swing it behind. I hope I did this right. Sometimes I forget which side I did. Let me feel this out. Is it that one? I think I had it right the first time. Sorry guys, I guess the point is, hopefully you're using the opposite arm than you did the last time. And then we're going to hold on this side and look up, opening up that chest and shoulder. Chin up, chest up. 3 to 5 deep breaths. to the side. Yes. Straighten the legs. First have them a little closer, so don't let the heel hang off the first time. Lean in and hold on to that pole and just try to straighten your knees. Try to get both knees nice and straight. Notice how my line from my head to my hips is still nice and long. It's not rounded, okay? That's always important. And stretching the legs to keep the back flat. All right, now we're going to wiggle that leg back so the heel can kind of go sub-board. And the leg is straight, stand up tall, push that heel down, hold it. 3 to 5 deep breaths. Now bend the knee a little. Did you feel that little difference? Did you feel how it kind of pulled the stretch a little down towards the heel? Nice deep breath. Again. And then now we're going to go ahead and lunge forward. So pushing the hips forward. I'm going to still hold on to that front. I might want to step my front foot a little bit and even, I can keep my weight in the back or to the front. But the main thing here is pushing the hip under. Keeping the legs straight at first, torso upright and high. Opening up the hip flexor, high thigh. That's kind of where your pocket would be, right? And then bending the back knee and just lowering the knee down as you still try to maintain that little bit of a tuck in your body. Chest up. I almost feel like we're doing some yoga here. And then let's bring it back to the center, gently pivot. Now this time, for our final stretch, we're going to step back and off of the board. We're going to finish off with one of those moves I love to start off with, which is that hip flexion and roll through the spine. Hands on poles if you like. So again, let me show you this from the side. Hip flexion and roll through. Sometimes it feels more comfortable to do this from the side position because for some reason it just seems like it's easier to hold your pole. You can edge up and be closer to it when you're in the side position. But you can also do the same move if you don't want to have your hands on the poles by just keeping your hands on your thighs. And I really want you to feel that nice full lingering through the back and the spine. Let your head, I know I look up a little bit because I'm trying to talk to you, but try to keep your chin tucked to the very last minute so you also get the benefit of a nice long stretch through the neck. 2 more times. Last one. And standing tall. Just bringing arms up and let them float down. Again, inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, pull down. Inhale up, pull down. Inhale up, bring it to praise position. Give me a little bow. And don't forget to work your heart this month and show your love. Thank you for being here. Signing off, but checking in first to see if I have anybody who wanted to make a comment today. If not, I hope some of you will after class so that I can come back and chat it up with you a little bit. I know it's hard during class for me to respond, but I am so happy to see that so many of you stick with me to the very end of the workout, because that really does make it nice is if you get the full cool down in. I'm trying to see if I can see the chat box a little better. Yay, Sean, thank you for being here. And Deborah, thank you. I know you're late, but that's okay. Better late than never, always. And Vicky, thank you again for being here. I hope that there's more of you out there. Maybe you just don't like being in the box, but I welcome you and I hope you'll be back tomorrow, which is Thursday, and that's Dan's day, and then Friday for Debbie. So, signing off from Kathy Stevens' home studio, 60 up, up, and away. Thanks, guys.